to delete videos again. I forget to use the tablet because my son put so much gigabytes on the tablet for me to upload and save things. But even though I transferred everything from the phone, I think for me to use the CapCut, I have to do something, and that's why I haven't. Guys, blessings, blessings. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. I know that you guys are up with many blessings and a thankful heart. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Now, listen, this is just a quick video. But before I get into the video, again, this is your girl, Miss Bev, with yet another one. I'm just, I have to say thanks, so much thanks to all of you. I saw today that we got some more subscribers, like I think 8 or so new subscribers. God, welcome to the channel, and just know that I absolutely appreciate you guys. If you can get a chance, guys, to go back to the playlist, there's so many nice videos in there hidden. I've done over 1,000 videos, so please, when you get a chance, just watch them. If you comment on them, I will, when I go to analytics, it allows me to see the comments that has been made, and I will be able to respond to them. So please go back, watch the playlist, and let's go back and see some of the older videos. Tonight, hopefully, I'll be doing some poems, just a couple of poems of Black history, or maybe, because some of the poems I will go back to older, to some of the poems I've done before, because they're my favorites. But today, guys, look at this. It's a mango. And so I'm going to be peeling it, cutting the sides. I saw my daughter eats mango. She taught me to eat mango this way instead of just biting into it. Cut the sides off, and then enjoy the middle. Because then you don't have so much of the juice wasting when you cut the sides. So thank you to my former lady Shelly-Ann. Thank you for my mangoes. I think we bought like 8 mangoes, Kayla and myself, and we sit and we enjoy them. Kayla is away for the weekend. She'll come back tonight for school tomorrow. So I finished the laundry, washed her uniforms. They're practicing now, running, because field day is coming soon. So she has her PE clothes. So they're clean and ready for her for next week again as well. So again, listen, today it's a great day. It's a day to be thankful, guys, regardless of all things. I was talking to my daughter this morning, and sometimes I was telling her, Kayla isn't here, and I felt so out of sorts. But then she said, Mommy, you're okay. She said, you have done nothing to anyone. You are not rich and flaunting riches down there. So go to bed and sleep when night comes. Just don't worry. People will come knock you up if you have done something to them, or they see something that you want. You're living a humble life. Why would they come and hurt you? And so she said, Mommy, you know what happens? You watch these videos with people, returning residents getting hurt, but there are so many thousands more who have gone home and are safe than are those who have been hurt. So she says, Mommy, God has you. He says 10,000 shall fall on this side, and how many other thousand on the other side. And so because he has you under his wings, you're protected. So then I felt good, because when Kayla is not here, I feel like I sit up out here for a while before I go into bed. So she said, Mommy, it's okay. But today I just wanted to do a quick talk. I reached out and I asked you guys, what is my niche? I come on here and I talk with you guys, and I said, what is my niche? And one of you, my dear Miss Margaret, guys, go over and check out Margaret Smith channel and just show her some love. Subscribe to her channel. she give her testimonials over there, and I watch them and I enjoy them because it brings me back to my childhood as well. And so we have been back and forth talking about childhood, different situations of our childhood, and I thought about asking guys you the questions. Woman, is there any of you out there who have ever straightened your hair with that fork? Not straighten the full head, but tried to straighten your hair with that fork. Heating the fork in the fire and putting it to your hair. And remember the outcome? Remember the scent of that hair burning? Because the fork was too hot, so when you put it in your hair, it just burnt out. It just burnt out the whole section that the fork could manage. The things we did, the things I did as a child. But not only that, remember when we went to school, I had a principal who, she walked around. I don't know, they don't do it in the schools today. But every Monday morning you went to school, know this, that she was coming around, and she had this big piece of leather that she rolled up. And when the chief of schools, those inspectors came around, that thing was missing. All of a sudden she's walking around like this nice person, and she was big, and there's a strapping or something. She was a big woman, well put together, but she had meat on her bones. And her husband was the same thing. We used to call him a pig because the back of his neck was so fat. It had that big roll behind it because they wore the button-up shirts. So it would push this meat in the back of his neck up. So when he walked around, and you watch the back of his neck. But he used to wear those nice shoes. When he walks, you could hear him coming from a mile because they would squeak. But both he and his wife, he was the principal first for my school, the Springfield All-Age School, and then his wife took over. And she was, I'm telling you, she was tall, but she had body. And she wore the girdles. I remember the girdles, because you could see it print on her thigh, where the foot of the girdle would sit. But she wore those tight girdles and kept her together because she was big. But she was, I don't know if you call her mean, or it was just her way of control. Because she had it. She had it. She ran that school. She ran it well. But every Monday, we know she's going to check for fingernails, your teeth, and in your ears. And if your ears are dirty, she beat you. Because she said there's no reason for it. When she said, show your teeth, you show your teeth, and, you couldn't have food on your teeth, or yellow teeth, because she said you can use a piece of cloth and just rub your teeth. Because when you bathe, that's what you did. Granny, when we got older, Granny would crush the fire coal and tie it up into a little piece of marina, and that's what you used to rub your teeth. Or you, in the mornings, you're going to school and you're trying to find a little piece of sugar cane anywhere, any little piece. People have them sugar cane, you have bigger little piece. Because you chew it and then take the trash and rub your teeth. Or they had the chew stick. People used to go in the bushes, the boys used to go in the bushes and get the chew stick and give it to us, and we know how to chew it up and it becomes a brush and clean our teeth. The fingernail, we didn't have fingernail clips, right? In the 60s, who had a fingernail clip? So 60s, early 70s. We didn't know what fingernail clips were. We used to use the scissors. And you would cut the left hand with the right hand, but when you come to the left hand to cut the right, it was hard. And those scissors, the back was so thick that it couldn't chop the nails off properly. So what we resort to? Biting off the nails. But you have to be good at biting it, because if it jagga Monday morning, if the edges are rugged, you're going to get a beating because she's telling you, don't bite your nails. So it was quite interesting. And she'd look in the kid's ear hole and said, look, your ears hole, you people could plant corn in your ears. You got to clean your ears. And then for the girls, remember the boys were all khaki, and the girls, we had blue and white or blue, navy blue, and then a sky blue, a soft blue for the blouse. I think the upper like grade 7, 8, and 9 girls had the white shirts, and the lower grades had the light blue. So you had the dark blue and then the light blue inside for the shirt. But as you get to like 5th grade, like 5th grade and 6th grade, I didn't go to 5th. I left 4th and went to 6th grade. And you couldn't just sit down when you go to school. You had to, your uniforms had to be well pleated, and you had to sit and on the hem of your dress. You had to pull your thing under your butt and sit. But then when you get down into I skipped 7th and 8th grade, so I was in the grade 9, boy, with them girls. And man, when you look on them uniform, you know, man, them starch the uniform, and the pleat them sharp like a razor. The skirt them shine and pretty. But that's something used to rotten out the uniform still. And I only had one uniform for the whole school year. So when I started following them girls and starch my uniform, you know, to understand starch, because of the starch have lump, and the lump get by your uniform when the something was horrible. And the iron, Granny didn't buy a self-heating iron until I think, what happened? And I went back home and bought her a self-heating iron. We didn't have self-heating iron, you know. We had the little iron them with the handle that you had to put out of the kitchen. And the kitchen was far from the house. So when you take the iron, you set up the iron board, and the veranda railing was a piece of board that crossed the veranda railing. So you have the railing on the corners, and you put the board on this piece and over here, and it wrapped with a sheet. And that's what. So by the time you run out of kitchen for the iron, and heaven help you, if you make up the fire upon the iron and make the wood are the wrong wood, and it have that thing on the face of the iron, and when you dust upon your clothes, it black up your clothes. Lord Jesus. Those are the days, you know, man. Those are the days. But you had to go to school looking like you go to school. I see kids, even when I was teaching, and see how kids come to school, and it pained my heart. You know, and we had to run, right till you run from the kitchen quick and fast to go into the house with the hand at time, because you hold it, so you hold the handle with a cloth, because iron hot. But down here, so your finger them get hot, because the iron so hot, you know. But you rub off the iron face, and then you iron your clothes. So when me start talk about me, I start uniform and forget nice pleat. And when you sit down, you fold the pleats, and you take your hand, fold your pleats, and sit on them. So that means your uniform kept the pleats, so the whole you have pleats in the uniform no crush up. Oh my God, those were the days. Those are the kind of groomings we had. And then we stopped teaching it to our children. And our children just carry themselves how they want to carry themselves. I couldn't stand it at all. I like to see kids neat. When my kids went home and they went to William Nib, but they didn't have pleats to deal with. Their uniforms were A-line uniforms, and the white shirt and a tie, because they were prefects. And Christopher in his sharp khaki. And I had, the young lady was my cousin who made the uniforms for me. And I paid her. But every evening I get them 3. They had 2 skirts, and they each had 3 tops, 3 blouses. And Christopher had 1 pants and 3 shirts. And so every evening they came home, and they didn't even want the helper come wash them clothes. One of the girls, they would take turns and wash whatever they wore that day. Boy, God bless them. They would just wash them out and get them, so they're never out of clean uniforms. And they never just wash theirs and say, Mommy, you're responsible for Christopher's. They would take Christopher's and theirs. The Christopher's shirts, whatever he wore, they would take it and they would wash them out and let them dry, because they said, Mommy, sweating clothes will smell in Jamaica. So they would do that. So I teach, I get home, I'm cooking dinner, and Christopher has homework, we help him with that. And they come home and, they get to work, and that's what they used to do, and then do their homework. But those were the days, man. Principals walk around. Principals never upon TikTok and upon phone and them something. She was involved. She beat you. She come to the class, the teacher teach, and she asks a question, and she thinks you didn't pay attention, and you're behind get licked. But I never forget this one girl, I'm telling you, and she did well in life. I don't know what getting to the well was. And because I skipped the grades and I was down in grade now with the big kids, and Granny, her mom had left, so Granny took them over into the house with us. So she's the oldest of all of us, and I remembered going down, we're going to get water at the pond, and as we were walking down, she started telling me about this girl, telling me, big woman something, big something. She had told me about the girl and boy, and what boy did to the girl and what happened. And so when we went to school the Monday morning, it looked like she was telling to somebody else. I don't know how the story went, but the girl heard back. And she went to the principal and she spoke to the principal. And mind you, that girl, they were Christians, I think. She was Christian, but her father had a truck. So they had prominence, because her father owned a truck. And they had a big shop. So the principal is going to be on her side. And she went and told the principal what she heard, and that girl went in, the principal calling in people and asking who said what and what not, and that girl went in. Mind you, these kids that she said I came and told her about, they're not even my age group. Those are kids who sat in the back of the classroom, because we, the younger ones, sat up in the front, and those girls who their time was up to leave school, but the principal let them stay until they were 18. Some of them she selected for to teach if they passed the exams. It was JSC at the time, Jamaica School Certificates, and if they take the subjects and if they pass those subjects enough, she would allow them to. She would select some of them to teach in the school, so they get a salary. And that girl went in there and told them that I was the one who told her about this girl. And the principal sent for me, and all I'm saying to I didn't tell her, I didn't know anything. She's the one who told me. And the girl insisted that I told her. I said, boy, I'm telling you, and Granny regretted bringing those people in the yard, man. Granny regretted it so much. I tell you. And Granny was somebody who was into problems and stuff, but she regretted one day. She said, Bev, I'm your grandmother, you have rights in here, The girl would tell me, oh, you are grandpitney, so me have more rights here than you. And the thing she was doing, Granny have to tell me, she said, I'm your grandmother. You have rights in here too. They have no rights here. But when she tell the principal and she insists that I told her, and she insists, and this one is saying who said it, and she was the one who started it. And so she told the principal, and all that I'm saying, I didn't. My behind get tear up to the principal, whacks me 2 big lick over my back. And I said I really didn't like the girl anymore, even though she was in my yard and eating and drinking with us. Boy, me tell him I never forget them licks that she make me get, and no say a lie she tell. But that's how you go, when you cause life, if you have life, then you have hope to thrive and do well. But I'm just saying to us today, guys, the reason I'm just going back into the childhood days is to hear. I remember Granny would never let me put a hot comb in my head and my hair. I couldn't wear afro. Granny wanted me to be humble, and so I never get comb clips and circle comb and them something for my hair. She buy me my 2 pieces of red ribbon, and when I go to school, that was our uniform, our blue tunic, our blue socks, our black shoes, and our red ribbon. She couldn't afford my socks, she couldn't afford my shoes. But I had my red ribbon, and I remember going home, and when the man would let out him cows, whole heap of cow in the path we had to walk to go home. And they said, cows not like red. So I would grab out the red ribbon, them out my hair, man, and push them in my pocket, so I could run past the cow them for go home. But those were the days, And I tried, I go in the kitchen, take the fork, and so I go lighten out my hair and burn out the whole of my head, my hair front, because the fork did too hot. Never do it again, though. But those were the days, guys. Today, as we said in the lot of videos that I did, so many of our kids don't have a childhood. One of the things that I remembered Granny doing is when Granny was cooking and I would sit in the kitchen there with her, because we had a fireside and then we could sit down. We had a mortar and we had a little bench, a little seat, because the butchery was right next on the kitchen. It was two things, and the butchery where they would store the food when they did the big farming, and then they had built a little seat so when you're in the kitchen you could sit, and then Granny had a big mortar to do the coffee beans and the cocoa beans, to beat them and to make the coffee powder and to make the cocoa beans oily and nice so you could make them into chocolate. And so sometimes even the ground was like they had put some stones, but it was hard though. I don't know, they were trying to put concrete there, but the ground was hard. You could sweep the kitchen floor, and sometimes you just sit there. I remember they had a dresser, what we call a dresser, where you turn on the dishes, and one set up here to make it with slabs, and on the bottom was another to put the pots, and then you had a cupboard on the other side, and we didn't keep food in it because rats and stuff would probably go into it. But it was a nice, as I said, Granny, I thought we were poor, but I think I felt poor because it was just Granny and she didn't have much as I got there, when I got there, because her husband had died a long time. But they seemed like they lived well because they had a butler's room, and then they had 2 bedrooms, a living room, a dining area, and the big kitchen and the butchery. We had a big veranda. So I think they did well before he died. But when Granny was cooking, I would be in the kitchen with her and she'd pinch off a piece of the flour and give it to me, and I roll it up and put it by like a fire coal under the pot, and it roasts. And I sit down and eat my little roast dumpling while the pot didn't cook. So when I am raising my children, and what I would do when I was whenever I'm cooking dumplings or stuff, they're up in there with me, and I would pick off a piece and give to each of them, and they would make their own little dumpling, because I always say, wash your hands before you handle food. Always wash your hand. And they roll up the little something, put in the pot. And I learned to make apple pies, and I remembered one day I was up in there, and Christopher was maybe 2 years or 3. I don't remember how old Christopher was, but he had to sit on the table, and Jody and Judy on both sides of me. And I remembered giving them their portion of stuff, and they rolled it up, put coloring on it, so they made green cookies. And when they were baked, everybody looked like, we can't eat green cookies. And they bring it down in the back for the cats. So those were nice days, guys. Whenever our flour was a Play-Doh, and I would give them the little pinch so they could roll it up, make the little man with the took hand them and the took a foot, and just do whatever. But it's Sunday, I'm just sitting here reminiscing, waiting for Kayla to show up, and just wishing the best for each and every one of you where you are. And if you're a young mother, please go back to your childhood days, if you had one, and help your children to save their eyeballs. Help your children to not just spend all their time on the computer. The computers will be there for a long time. But when you have childhood memories, a lot of kids don't have nothing. The only thing they know is video games. But not, I remember when we used to go here, go there, do this or do that. It's just, they're walking on the street, their eyes down on the phone. in the classroom, that you hardly can get them to learn. The eyes are just on the phone. And my goodness, I said, what's going to happen to us? Will things change now that Trump put the tariffs on China and China hit back hard? And so a lot of things that America needs to make, the things they need, is going to cost a lot more. Will it change things because it will be so expensive that not everybody will be able to afford it? Because I say this, that the downfall of the education in America, what happened, the decline, is when COVID happened, when the pandemic happened. And so many kids who did not have access to technology was handed a laptop during that time. And they were handed a laptop without any restrictions. They were just given these things to these children, and then they asked the company, Comcast, to give the families Wi-Fi. Give them Wi-Fi for free for a while, and then they paid a little bit and nothing after that. And so kids had this full access 24 hours a day. And I said to the district, I said to my colleagues and my principal at the time, I said, we need to put a restriction. Shut down the tablets at 5 or 6 in the evenings and reopen them at 7 or so in the mornings. We cannot have these kids left unattended. Parents were everybody was going through a rough time mentally, physically. You know, I know a lot of people are fed up because the apartments were small, and so many of them are just on each other all day, every day, couldn't go outside, couldn't do anything. And so it was hard. So I think everybody just took their little spot and tried to just deal with it. But what it did, it left the children with these devices, and they started exploring. They were looking at blue movies and looking at harsh, ugly things that really became more exciting than to learn. And so when it was time for the classroom in the mornings, they were tired out. They were not interested because they were watching things that were more interesting. And so they would sign in, and that was it. No participation, no work done, nothing done. And then COVID, everything went back to start getting back to normal, and they came back to school, and little or no support, and teachers, they opened the doors and pushed us in, and it was just go teach as usual. And what you find is that now you have kids coming in, and even to the time when I retired, kids in the 6th grade. You have 60-something kids because you're teaching one subject. It's departmentalized. So 60-something kids are coming through my classroom daily, and out of that, 2 kids out of that 62 were on grade level. 2 single 2. And so this technology, instead of us using it for greatness or they want a world of whatever, it has really taken a lot from our children. And I'm not just blaming the kids, because parents stand by and let it happen as well, because they feel like once the kids are quiet, then it's okay. And so they're out now. When school reopened, very few of them, the only interest they had was to come to school. Why did my kid fail? All through the year you're reaching out. Look, they're not trying, they're not doing work in class. Look, they're cutting class. Look, they're not trying to do the homework. Look, they're not taking notes. Look, all of these things, and nobody turn and look at you until when they get the final report card and they see the F on their kid's page. And the district is telling you can't give them an F. They have to get... A kid does no work and shouldn't get an F. And so the whole system is skewed. And I will go back to the quote, to this thing that the young lady said on Instagram, where teachers follow teachers, where they talk about, where she posted the video with the lady who was speaking, and she said how things have changed, you know, because it starts from the top, where this one, the board is afraid of the parents. Like when you look at the whole thing, is that the kids are the ones who have won in the end. 'Cause everybody is afraid of the kids, you know. So the teachers, the superintendent afraid of the board something, teachers are afraid of the board is afraid of the parents, and the parents are afraid of the kids, and the kids are afraid of nobody. So they have this power, and so because they give them this power, if you say something to them, they call you out, they report you, they try to take your job. They try to take your job. And so that's how it has been. Be good to yourselves, my people. Take care. So guess what, guys? I have to come back. I know I made a hasty closing, but I'm just want to come back and add this to the video, because when Miss Ruby came, I bought all this linen material at 10 pieces, and I came down thinking I would have found like a seamstress to do them for me. Unfortunately, I did not really find somebody. And last year, the year before, when I came down, we had somebody who did some for me, but didn't, because one of the things, I like pockets. I have to have pockets on my clothing, and my problem is my fat arms. I get my mom's arms, so I have the big arms. So my lower section, it fits perfectly, but the sleeves. But with the pockets, they didn't put the pockets in correctly. The pockets can be pockets that you stitch on the outside and get the pockets nice and a nice shape. They opened the side, and to put in the pockets that she put in were way down to my knee. It's like an ugly cut just hanging off. But if they put the pockets, like when they cut the material, the pocket is a part of what they cut, and you stitch it on the outside, then you get nice shaped pockets, like more of a rectangular bottom, straight and come up, instead of this point, like a kidney thing, and it goes all the way down. When you put things in your pocket, you can't get it out of your pocket because it's so long down to on your thighs, way down near your knee. So she came and she said, "Oh, I could bring them back to New York for you and get, let them get it done." So I sent a dress up. I don't know if they're gonna come out okay. It's a chance I took. I sent a dress with nice sleeves that fits me perfectly, and asked him to cut from that to do it. So we're gonna see. So they had a lot of snow last night, it seems. So he's trying to get her, and it was reasonable too to make them. And so I sent her the funds to ship it to my shipping company in Florida, and they will send it here, and I'll get it within a short time. But if you send it by the post office, you're not gonna get it till next month and sometime. So it's ready, and he reached out to me this morning. I was thinking, did he get caught up into the deportation thing, because we should have gotten them last week. And then when she told me he just called him, see what's going on, because he didn't reach out to her. I called him, and he said, yeah, he had a couple of things was to finish, but I mean, 10 dresses. So he said he was finishing, but this week definitely they would have been ready. And true to his word, he reached out this morning, say they were supposed to meet up today, but she said after church. So he was waiting for her, and he reached out to me, say he lost the number, he messed up the number. So I'll call her. I didn't get her though. I left her a message. She didn't respond. But I think as he just called back now, so that's what got me, because when I saw it's him, I had to hurry up. I ended the video instead of pausing the video. I ended the video. But so I was able to give him the number, because he's still there waiting for her. So after 2 o'clock. But if it, if it's because of the snow, I wouldn't expect her to come out in the snow. She's old. She doesn't need to come out if she doesn't have to. I'm not like naked. I'm not naked. But yes, guys, so again, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for supporting Miss Bev's production. And just thanks for all the respect and the kind words of upliftment. And so I said I did ask a question as to what do you think my niche is. And somebody says storytelling. You really need to tell stories. I laughed at it because I did a class in storytelling, and that professor, he was he just wanted to hear me tell stories. You see, you have the voice for it, you have the whole thing for storytelling. But I never perfected at all, because you have to remember, right? If you're gonna tell a story, like you read an Anansi story, I cannot remember all the Anansi stories. We grew up on Anansi stories and Nancy Drew books. We grew up telling Anansi story, so many, but I can't remember them. And except for this one that we did in that class with him, where there was a famine in the land where Anansi was, and one of the things was that they put a law out and said that people, I think they said people, and they were eating one another. Something was going on. You see, that's why, because I must be able to remember the lines well in order to get a good delivery. But people were hungry. And so Anansi came up, it was Anansi who came up with this thing where he says that anybody say the number 6, they would just die, they would drop dead, and then that's how he would be able to get to his food. Because when they come and they say the number, then if they say the number, then they're going to die, and he would haul them home to his family. So one day people were coming in, and he would sit out there, had some yam hills there, and he sat there, and what he would do, he says, count them yam hills for me. And when they saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and them drop dead, and Nancy get food. So this one came and wanted to outsmart Nancy. So when he came, and Nancy tell him, was it Brad Dog? Him said, cut them yam hill there for me. And him said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one over there. So, and Nancy said, I don't see your count. Count it again. He said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one over there where you sit on pad. And Nancy started get frustrated now. Him said, count it again. And the man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one over there, sir. And the man said, and Nancy said, no, said you count him. And the man said, the dog said, Brad Dog said, then you count it. And show me how to count. Him want food too, Brad Dog want food, because I let him hungry. And then Nancy jumped up and said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Nancy dropped dead, and the brother pick up and Nancy and go eat him. That is a Nancy story. Take care, everybody. Much love and respect. Miss Bev is your girl. Continue to support, guys. Share the videos, like the videos, leave your comments, and help me grow.